Hi empaths, welcome back to more crystal readings. Noticing which crystal or shell draws your attention. Pulling your focus. Feeling the energy in your heart moving up and out through your eyes into the shell or crystal. On the left we have pink mother of pearl. In the middle we have yellow obsidian. And on the right we have Dravite or brown tourmaline. Just sending your energy into the crystal or shell. And then I'll tune in and see what I can pick up. Using the crystal or shell as a medium. Just another moment. All right, let's get started. Hi there to those of you that chose the pink mother of pearl shell. Tuning in. I'm seeing the word compassion. In all caps, right, sort of spelled out in my mind's eye. And some of the letters turning into seashells. I'm also seeing like a small shell, which looks like an optical illusion in some sort of resin you might see it in, or that might be worn as a pendant, or even as something that, like a desktop, or what is it, a bookend? It could be glass as well. So do you find comfort in things that remind you of the ocean, such as shells, or right, sort of things that were tossed and turned in the ocean and come out shiny, you know, polished. I think this might have been polished. I don't know that this is completely natural. It seems like there might be a little polish on here, right? But you know what I'm getting at, like going through emotional highs and lows, right? Being tossed and turned a bit, coming out knowing your values, maybe, right? Like knowing that having gone through extreme ups and downs, maybe the value becomes inner peace, and learning to maintain maintaining inner peace and committing to that despite what the outside world or what other people are trying to hook you into. And then you become that for other people. And, you know, those painful times in life actually sort of I want to say dig deeper, the lesson of compassion. I don't know why those are the words that want to come in. I'm seeing like a crab digging in the sand. Like dig deeper, this idea of compassion, right? Kind of even extreme compassion, even understanding other people's bad behaviors, and remembering to have compassion for self, right? Sometimes compassion can be so extreme that we forgive and allow others' bad behaviors sometimes, when what they really need are consequences, whether that just be our distance, right, or us speaking our boundary or whatever it is. There needs to be a consequence, and sometimes we feel so compassionate that we don't offer that, because that's loving as well, right? Having those boundaries is creating trust and love as well, and it's showing compassion for yourself. So this might be part of what's coming up right now for you, learning the limits, right? Your personal boundaries, what feels respectful to you, what feels respectful of your time and energy. And maybe there are people that you extend more to just because you trust that it's a reciprocal relationship, and there's so much goodwill built up that it's okay. You understand if they call you late at night because they're going through something, right? But then there are other people that you might sense it's more one-sided. So where do you need to have a boundary for yourself? Where do you need to have more compassion for yourself? And also, is there someone who you're struggling to have compassion for? Maybe they're, in an area of their journey that you already went through, and can you look back and can you see that maybe they're experiencing the pain that you went through as well, but you managed to do it alone or something, right? So it's hard to identify with someone being so needy, or maybe they're grappling with a different version of it that's hard to relate to. Just navigating these boundaries right now. What feels compassionate to you for yourself as well as the other person, right? Where's there balance in that? Because sometimes what happens with someone who has a healing energy or is empathic, right, is we have a lineup of people that, or if you're on a creative path, if you're creating something, you might notice, and just when you're about to create something for yourself, right, or you're cultivating the energy to put something out into the world or to do something good for yourself, right? Like you made a plan for the day for self-care. And there's these psychic feelers in these relationships that people that can sense that are really needy come to you to kind of take some of that. And it doesn't mean they're toxic, right? It just means that people can sense, that there are these psychic bonds, these energetic bonds, and learning to respect your work enough or your energy enough to have boundaries around it. It's for you, right? Some of it's for you, and you give from a place of overflow after having done the self-care activity, after creating the work, right? And this is something I'm navigating too, so I really felt drawn to this shell, this mother of pearl shell. I mean, I'm wearing mother of shell earrings as well. I have a starfish pendant on, so I'm thinking this reading's for me as well. I'm part of this group. Yeah, this message is for me, big time. Particularly this week. This is what I'm navigating too. Right, and sometimes we don't know till afterwards, and that's when we can have the reflection and learn, right? Because water is about reflecting too. If you have the exchange and you feel excited, enthusiastic, more abundant, having more vitality, then that's a sign that maybe that's something that you don't have to put so many limiters around, right? Maybe not have as many boundaries around, that it's more, there's more trust there. There's a better synergy to, like if you see that person's call coming in on your phone, you might not let it go to voicemail every time. But if it's an exchange where you start to feel the energy leave your body, you're starting to feel drained, you feel lower afterwards, or you mention I'm really tired and they still keep talking, right? There's not this honoring of your needs and boundaries too, that it seems kind of one-sided. That comes from a wounded person who's maybe looking for parental love in relationships that are more partner oriented, right? Like friendships. So, and that can just feel a little too heavy. So it's okay to have compassion and maybe set up different expectations, letting it go to voicemail sometimes and saying, hey, can we schedule a time? I'm working on a project right now, or, right? It takes a while for people to understand that sometimes. So this might be part of what you're navigating. I'm navigating this as well. And not allowing guilt, because this means that you're also sort of making this agreement as well somewhere, right? Psychically, unconsciously. There's this agreement, and maybe it stems from caregiving, right? To a sibling or a parent, or, that was your role growing up. Your needs weren't met. So you learn to take care of your own and show up as a parental, mothering, or fathering kind of figure, right? And that's how you know how to make connections. So you're relearning too, and that's okay, right? Being gentle with yourself, being compassionate with yourself, is knowing that you're learning too. And that's a beautiful thing. That's exciting, right? This is a growing pain. These things are amplifying right now because this is what is being shifted. This is what's transforming currently. And knowing that loving energy, you can use it for yourself too, right? There are parts of you that maybe are feeling ignored or not adhered to because it's going out so much to needy people in your environment, right? And just the learning curve here of learning self-love, self-care. And this isn't your first time around, right? This isn't a lesson that's, it's just all of a sudden it's popped up it's unfamiliar territory. No, it's probably something you've been working on for quite some time, right? And it's really getting refined even more so. And that's part of this whole tossed and turned in the ocean to be polished and refined, right? And maybe some of these intense emotions are coming up to be healed and released, of a child that was unattended to, a bit neglected emotionally. And maybe that's coming up right now as well. And it's being reflected outside of you too, right? With these people coming to you for your soothing. The word salve is coming in. This salve of love, this loving energy. It's just so soothing and gentle. And that can be directed to you and your inner child as well, bringing healing energy. People are coming to you to feel heard. Are you listening to yourself, right? Are you mindfully tuning in and listening? Yeah, really beautiful, loving heart here. A lot of that energy is directed outwards, which is, people are picking that vibe up and just calling you up, coming your way. But I'm seeing the image of a waterfall of, the energy, or like a fountain, right? The energy recycling and coming back to self and nourishing you too. This is usable energy for you too. It doesn't just have to be outwardly focused. That you can contain it and radiate it at the same time, right? So that might be part of your practice, doing some kind of heart breathing, heart-centered meditation where you learn to contain it as well as fill her up and radiate it out into the world. And not coming out of yourself. Mindfully tuning in and sending loving energy to any area that's sort of calling for your attention, right? Through either pain or discomfort or tension, constriction, right? Because this loving feeling gives a sense of ease, soothing, compassionate, not compassion, soothing, ease, peace, relief, expansion. And then when we give that to ourselves consistently, it becomes a practice, and then it's sort of like the default mode, right? That's how it works. This is how we operate now. So there are areas in your life where you can see that, how you made something, where you practiced something and made it, now it's a new positive habit, right? Self-love and compassion can be that too. And being your own self-healer, right? Reparenting here. And then in that sense, you're able to attract people that, and model, not only attract people that are like you, because it's part of what's happening, right? Attracting people that are like you, that are their own healer. So you're just sort of sharing and exchanging loving energy. People aren't trying to give pieces of themselves to you to care for. It's more just equals exchanging energy and loving appreciation and just sharing the process with each other, right? Their own unique processes, but also you're modeling how to do that for people, right? Instead of, sometimes the empath has a trap of healing others in their stead. And I do believe that's part of the path until we figure out, oh, these are reflections of me. And if I can model taking care of myself in a stellar way, just by doing it, walking my talk, I can model that for other people. And it's something I just exude. I don't have to talk about it, right? I don't even have to tell them. I don't have to talk about it. It's just the way I carry myself, the way I manage my energy, and they can pick up on that and do that for themselves too, right? I've had amazing mentors and healers do that for me, and I'm learning to do that as well. Maybe that's part of your path too, right? Let me know in the comments, is this coming up for you? For those of you that resonate with the pink mother of pearl. Thank you for liking and subscribing. That's valuable to me. And yeah, any links will be in the description. Check out the other readings to see if your energy spilled over, or I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye. Hi there to those of you that chose the yellow obsidian. This is cool. I like obsidian. It's a cool stone. All right, let's tune in and see what's coming up. I'm seeing the word confidence. Confidence. I'm seeing words written out a lot currently. If you watched the last reading, I saw compassion. This time I'm seeing confidence. And I'm seeing the word confidence. Like if you were editing a video, right, you might have the title words doing different movements and coming in. And I'm sort of seeing confidence zooming in, so you're only seeing part of the letters and sort of flowing around. So this can, I guess, symbolize for me that confidence is fluctuating, coming and going, or revealing itself in different forms. That maybe you carry your confidence in different ways at different times, so that sometimes you don't recognize it as confident. And maybe this is something you're working on. Right? Maybe you're learning that I can collect data, collect information, take different classes, and something is eluding me here. Like I'm getting more competent, but I still don't feel good enough, or I still feel like there's not enough here. And maybe part of the answer is it's just the emotional state of confidence, tuning into that. And how do we do that? Maybe we need to turn this into something we invest in every day. And I'm seeing 11:11 on the clock. Something we need to invest in every day in order to manifest the most positive outcomes for ourselves, right? I'm seeing 11:11. That's why I say manifest. 11:11 can mean manifestation to me. It can also symbolize divine partnership, things like that. So looking at confidence, making it a practice. Oh, so I'm getting that it's directly linked with quality of energy, right? So sometimes there's a lack of confidence just because because of the quality of your energy. And the quality of your energy is something you can manage. You can control that, right? There's things you can do to sort of prime yourself for the day. Sometimes I will, if I need a boost, I will turn on really great music that gives me that uplifted feeling, and I'll dance to it for a while. Movement can have the greatest effect. How you're breathing, how you're carrying your body, right? There's a physiology to confidence. Do you have that for yourself? Do you know what that is? Can you take the posture of confidence? Prime yourself through practice. You know, sometimes I'll watch the YouTube video for priming that Tony Robbins has, and it really gets you, and it pumps you up to an emotional state, to like peak state, to really deliver, right? Because that's a huge part of the process. In fact, some might say that your state is the most important aspect of creating or doing anything. When you're showing up in life, if you're in the right state, you can find a way to make anything happen. I learned that from Tony Robbins' work. Right, so maybe you're investing, and not really acknowledging how great that you've become. Like, you have a solid wealth of knowledge here, right? Or a lot of practice in some area. That maybe the only thing that's lacking here is the emotional resonance, the emotional state. And you can make that happen. There's many ways you can do that. Find the way that's right for you. I'm actually even seeing going in the control panel of your mind's eye, turning up the volume on confidence, right? What does it feel like? When was the last time you felt confident, right? Or learn by contrast. When was the last time you really lacked confidence? You knew confidence would have really helped you. And who would you need to be to feel confident in that moment? Or what would confidence look like in that moment? What would you have changed? What could have been different? And can you put that behavior on? Can you model that? Can you do that? Or find a mentor who exudes confidence. They're just so confident. I have a friend who really, we met in performing arts, and she exuded confidence. And I always looked up to her because it's something that didn't come naturally for me. And when she names her mentors, one of them is Madonna, just the confidence that Madonna exudes. And I guess, that's kind of undeniable, but interesting that she's a dancer, right? So it does come from movement and the way she moves, right? So how is she exuding confidence? Well, part of it is just the way she's moving. It is attitude as well. So I'm not saying you should take on Madonna as your mentor. Not everyone resonates with her energy, but maybe there is someone who exudes that confidence for you. Put them in the comments. I think that could help other people too who are looking for mentors who exude confidence. For me, it's Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep is someone I really admire for, and I work with her as a mentor because she's one person who can get her point across with fewer words, right? And when she does speak, people listen and respect, and she just lets her work speak for itself. And it's sort of, she's well respected for her craft and her confidence in just taking on different roles and different tasks as an artist. It's very inspiring to me. So she's one for me. So mentor is coming up here as who can you see out there, and they don't have to be perfect, right? There's no perfect person, there's no perfect role model or mentor, but someone that just carries themselves maybe in a way that you'd like to put on or try on, or who's doing something out there that, hey, I'd like to do something like that. So maybe get some ideas going in the comment section to help all of us out and figure out who might that be. Who are you looking up to? Who are you admiring for their confidence or just how they carry themselves? Right? And you can sort of use that as an archetype for modeling that behavior. Right? You can do that for any area. That's part of mastery, isn't it? Yeah, there's some magic in that. There's some magic sauce in that, collecting these images, particularly if you're an artist or doing anything creative. I've found that a lot of the information that's coming in right now for me are for artists, people creating things in the healing arts even, right? Things that are creative, artistic. And I don't know, I'm doing a lot of work with my business Vortex, doing manifestation work. And I think maybe that's maybe guiding me to work with a certain, maybe like an ideal match or fit for my work. I'm not sure what's happening, but I do sense that I'm channeling more energy there towards that, or being guided towards that information. So maybe this is happening for you too. Right? I mean, acknowledging the synergy, right? Acknowledging the relationship dynamics. If you have to work with other people, right? Or you're doing client-based work, or you're an artist in some way, maybe the shortcomings, if you're sensing that it's not optimal work, aren't all coming from you. Maybe it's also synergy, and can you give some of it to that, right? And not try to change your identity. Try to, I say that because as a young artist and I was growing, I felt kind of beaten up and tossed around emotionally by criticism. And it was because I didn't have a solid sense of identity, which I can, attribute to lack of confidence as well, right? This lack of sort of centeredness, this sense of self. So if that's coming in for you, can you see how it's not all on you? Maybe it's a dynamic as well. And you're just learning through contrast sometimes that, okay, why doesn't this work out? Right? And not take all of the burden on yourself. right? Maybe this isn't the right style for you, right? Or maybe this isn't the ideal client for you. Or this project doesn't really resonate with your spirit as a creative person. But you're doing the work and learning through contrast. And you can certainly say during the manifestation process that, okay, that didn't quite work for me, right? So how could I refine this? Either set up expectations differently or attract a different type. And get a really solid sense then. And then it becomes less movable, right? This confidence becomes unshakable. It's like, okay, I can be flexible in that I can be resilient and improv what needs to be done, but I'm not going to let it shift my identity and how good I feel about myself, right? Like if sometimes it doesn't work and I can't be attached too much to the outcome, right? Particularly if it's process oriented. Cause and effect. Cause and effect is coming in. What about cause and effect? Intention. There's something that's kind of lost in translation here for me. I'm trying to figure this out. Cause and effect, intention. So in the manifestation process, if you're not achieving results, the results that that you want, they may be opportunities to set up boundaries, right? And really refine the process for yourself. It's not about, you don't have to just accept everything that comes your way. Right? Sometimes it's signs that things are happening, signs that the seeds that were planted are growing fruits. But maybe they are just signs. So I'm not sure why that's coming in. If you feel like, wow, I'm working on manifesting this, but I don't quite feel fulfilled in it, or what the results aren't really what I expected or wanted. A couple of things. It might just be signposts that it's working, that there are some parts that are manifesting, right? Particularly, like, I think about when I did manifestation work for attracting a partner, right? There was a lot of things on the list. People will start coming in that have a few of the qualities you're looking for, right? But you don't just take the first person. It's, you can say, you have to learn to say no. So that's part of the process too. And that might be part of this. It's the same chakra, right? Of confidence, boundaries, learning to say no. Oh, thank you, but, and negotiating, right? So part of this might be coming in where you don't just have to accept everything that comes. Maybe learning to negotiate, learning to refine boundaries. And this is a beautiful thing, because while it can feel like a challenge, it's really setting you up for ultimate fulfillment, right? As you really get to know yourself, what works for you. I'm still seeing cause and effect. So I must not be getting what I'm supposed to be talking about in that sense, as far as intention, or No, we got intention, okay? But I keep being shown cause and effect, and I'm not quite sure why. Is there anything more to say about that? Oh, so sometimes the things that are vibrationally oriented, like maybe it's just a moment where this doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I'm going to try to say what I'm feeling and sensing here. Sometimes when we're putting out a certain vibe and it's not, we're not feeling the best about ourselves, we might get signals around us that match that, which I'm guessing this is the cause and effect that's being shown to me. But know that that's just a glimpse in the moment, and that's something you can shift out of, right? Don't take it in and absorb it as meaning, see, look, everyone else is telling me that I'm not good enough too, right? This is something that, I've experienced, and it sometimes would push me to isolate, right? But I'm on the path of a hermit. Like hermit is part of my makeup. So that's not necessarily a bad thing for me, but it's not for everybody. So we need to learn to navigate around relationship dynamics as well. So this might be part of what you're learning to navigate right now, and getting a really solid sense of yourself that's kind of immovable and unshakable, that can be felt and seen as confidence. So what does that mean for you? And those things that you're certain about, right? You hold them in your body with certainty. There's a physiology there. So know that the cause this is a really long way around this idea. I'm sorry. So know that the cause was just that momentary low vibrationally, which is why maybe an interaction was a little sour or unfulfilling or disappointing, right? It was just the moment of the vibe. And don't take that one moment, that one glimpse, to mean something about you that's fixed, right? Because this was just a glimpse in a moment. Sometimes that can happen to us psychically as well, and that's what can be troubling in relationships. As someone who's sensitive, intuitive, psychic, we can get a glimpse and then make that mean something more than what it actually is. Particularly if it involves the relationship or someone we're in a relationship with, we get a momentary glimpse into their process. And they weren't finished with they were still processing something, right? So we get a glimpse. This is why it can be unuseful information if you're doing that for somebody that you're trying to have a relationship with. There are dynamics, and not everything is fixed. So if you're having a psychic hits on somebody that you're trying to have a relationship with, also know it's just a moment. It's just a glimpse. Don't make it mean something fixed. Know that it's probably just moving through, and don't hold on to it too much, right? Don't get too attached. I think that's another thing that's coming in, is don't get so attached to information that's changeable, right? Like self-image. You can work on that and change how you hold yourself in your mind's eye. There are many ways to do that. Don't get fixed into one moment, right? A one glimpse of something that's a process, or right there, there are things about you that are impermanent, or that are, limit connected to the limitless, that are more permanent, but how you see your persona or personality or self-image, those are things that we can change. So did I get the cause and effect here? I apologize for that kind of lapse in communication there. Couldn't follow that line of thought for a minute. Yeah, okay, got it. So I know I said that in a roundabout way, but there was something in there that the message wanted to come out, and I kind of feel like I'm stumbling over this message. So this could also be something where you can't quite find the right words, right? Or right, I'm just going to assume that it has some meaning here, that maybe it can be applied somewhere where maybe public speaking or something, and is it the right fit for me? Am I good enough, right? It's okay to have a pregnant pause, right? There will be people that get irritated, but just do your part to prepare, but also be in the right state, right? So that if something else wants to come in to be said, it's okay, you can flow into it, right? Priming yourself into the right state. There's a priming video on YouTube from Tony Robbins. I use it often I didn't use it today. I'm going to use it next time because maybe I wasn't quite in the right state. Today was one of those days where I was kind of bombarded with a lot of messages and gave away some of my mental energy. So yeah. But anyway, so I'm sorry that was kind of a roundabout, long-winded way of saying that. Let me know if you're resonating with this. Are you working on confidence? Have you found a mentor? Mention them in the comments. And are you doing a public speaking gig, or what can we support you with, right? Put it in the comments. We'll send you energy, right? I want this to be a community where we support each other too. All right, so either watch the other videos and see if your energy spilled over, or I will see you in the next one. Thanks for liking and subscribing, and all my links are in the description. Bye. Hi there to those of you that chose the Dravite brown tourmaline. It has like some sparks of energy, or sparks of fire, like the brown. If it'll focus, I'm not sure it will. See, you can sort of see, maybe. It's easier to see over here. But I love this. I love the brown tourmaline. All right, let's tune in. I'm seeing a tree, right? And I'm laying at the roots. So I'm associated in this visual. I'm in my body, associated in, and I'm laying at the roots, and I'm looking up at this long trunk and up to the leaves that are outstretched into the heavens. I'm really feeling connected. I'm admiring the everything that this image is sort of symbolizing for me. How tall the tree is, how connected it is. And this isn't something I would do. I don't like dirt or bugs or anything like that, so I probably wouldn't lie at the base of a tree necessarily, except in my mind's eye. But it is amazing to see how interconnected this stable aspect of nature is. It's so stable. It takes a long time to grow, a long time to form. Very old, very ancient. And sort of the ecosystem there of the animals. Like I'm seeing squirrels, a squirrel enjoying the tree, using the tree. I'm seeing birds nesting in the tree. The leaves turning colors and falling as we enter the fall season. And then some are evergreen, the pines. So trees, just this connecting to trees and the certainty that they represent. That they're solid, they're centered. And that really depends on how deep their roots go. Interesting. Because of course, storms can come in and uproot a tree, right? Heavy winds can come and uproot a tree if it's really high, but the roots aren't very deep, right? It can easily be uprooted in that case. So this might have to do with how connected are you to your root system? How grounded are you? Do you do grounding work? Do you have a grounding practice? Do you consider yourself a grounded person? Are you connected to your ancestors, the roots, your personal roots, right? Have you made peace with maybe your hometown, your parents, your family system, your personal history maybe? And where do you choose to invest that energy? Where have you chosen? Maybe you've uprooted and moved. And how easy was that transition? And are you currently investing in that area in some way? Whether it be participating in the community in some way, letting your voice be heard, I guess just getting involvement. Do you feel like you have a place? Do you feel like you're having an impact there? And if not, it might be that there's something to look at in the root, right? The root chakra, the root system. I know that for me personally, what happened was I was running away from a town I didn't feel accepted by. I felt had rejected me. I felt I didn't belong in. And for me, I was looking for belonging. So I ran away to New York City. And I wasn't really able to develop solid roots because I was still running. And there are still parts of me that are running. I'm still working on this. I'm still making peace with this. Just not feeling like there's this feeling a lack of belonging, not knowing exactly where I fit. And the pain the spiritual pain that can bring, right? The spiritual pain put me on a spiritual path of healing. So it wasn't of waste, but this is still maybe my strongest pain point, right? Is this sense that I don't know where I belong. Where do I fit? Am I having an impact? So maybe this reading is in part for me as well. Can you relate to any of these things? And having to look at those parts of me that I've rejected myself, which is can be uncomfortable, right? It's deep work, it's intense work, which I'm up for most days. I'm willing to look there. It is a process, layer by layer. More and more comfortable in the body, in my body, right? I say the body, that's dissociative distancing language. No, in my body, I will claim it. I will embody coming back down, right? Interesting how I'm seeing, admiring how high up the tree's going, right? That was my vantage point. That was my perspective. I was really admiring how far up, the height of the tree. And the information came in, well, what about the roots though? The roots are what enable it to grow so high. So, right, there's not a lot of stability without those roots. So this very metaphoric, symbolic message, but are you relating to that? Are you resonating with that in any way? Right? Could you use some earth element? Right? Is there an area of your life that could use some solid organization or planning, structure, certainty, right? Feeling solid, stable. I'm thinking that maybe the collective is experiencing some fear right now, which also goes along with the earth element because of the constriction, because of the lack of certainty. A lot of fear, making it hard to make peace with being embodied and being in the material world right now. So I can see that. Maybe a large portion of us are navigating this, working through this, feeling displaced. Like, how do I make a change? How do I make an impact? And also feel like I'm stable in my own life, and I have a sense of belonging, and then I have some stability of my own. Yeah, I can see that. And maybe that's creating a lot of fatigue. Are you feeling fatigue? Are you feeling like it's uncomfortable to be in your body right now, so you're floating up? I'm doing that a bit too. And maybe, the Dravite's coming in as medicine and saying, just be with this right now. And that, yes, it might be uncomfortable, but let's not abandon ourselves on top of that. I also think that, comfort in nature and communing with nature is important right now. And a lot of us have felt shut away for a very long time. Do you have an area of nature you can go visit? There's so much healing energy that, it is kind of inexplicable. I mean, scientifically, I assume. But there are elements there that, maybe we can't measure quite yet. But, have you ever gone out and taken a walk and looked at the images in nature and felt better somehow? Particularly as if you're an artist, a creative, a healer, a sensitive, I guess anyone could use a dose of that, right? The imagery itself can be healing. There's a whole study on that, right? Of what images can do for our psyche and for for our own sense of wellness. And nature's full of that. Maybe you've been seeing signs in nature like birds, right? And feeling that inspiration. I know recently I was driving and a bird flew very close, a giant bird. I wasn't even sure what kind of bird it was. It was, might have been a hawk or something. It was very big and large bird, huge wingspan, flew really close to my car. And I was like, wow, that it was so close. It felt like it must have been a message for me. I know that might sound like egocentric, but it was just so very close to my windshield. I thought, is it trying to tell me something? And I've been having moments like that. So maybe birds are coming up for you and showing themselves to you as messengers. The squirrel, interesting. The squirrel can be about hoarding, right? So are you seeing squirrels as well? And hoarding is associated with the earth element as well. If there's an imbalance with the earth element in the system, we might find that we're hoarding either material items, material possessions, or putting on weight, things like that, right? So what's your relationship to the earth element? And I don't know why this is coming in. It might just be a funny fact or something, but there's this, my friend told me that, you know, the way trees get planted a lot of the times is squirrels like to hoard nuts. And they hoard so many, they're like in this crazy, it's just this crazy cycle. Like it's, you know, part of their imprinting, I guess. Like they just hoard nonstop, so much to the point where they don't remember where all the nuts are, or the acorns or whatever. And then that's where trees can often grow because the squirrel has hoarded so many nuts they can't remember where they are, or acorns. And that's part of the ecosystem of how trees get planted. It's very interesting. I thought that was really funny when he shared that. And I really, squirrels are so cute. I'm always seeing squirrels on my walk. I was seeing them so much that I actually researched what is the symbol, like what is the omen for squirrel. And that's something you can Google. If you're seeing, you can look at the dream symbol, you can look at the spiritual meaning, or, you know, and see, there's so much information out there, what resonates for you, right? Because sometimes it doesn't land. I'm like, but sometimes I'll, but that's not all the time. Usually I'll read the message and I'll be like, oh, wow, that's exactly what I've been thinking about. So it's interesting to do that, especially if something keeps repeating throughout the week, or the past few days, you keep seeing the same symbol. Life is speaking to us all the time. I once had a spiritual mentor tell me either nothing has meaning or everything. And some days that makes a lot of sense. Like some days I get that, and some days I'm still grappling with that. But I think I chose the latter. Everything has meaning, so I do look for the meaning. Which is what got me on this path, right? Of interpreting symbols, listening to the feedback that's coming in, and, you know, tuning my radio signals, tuning the mind to the radio signals that are coming in, and receiving and interpreting. And some days I'm better at it than others, but So what animals are you seeing? What nature, what plants, what naturescapes speak to you, right? What's soothing and healing to you right now and offers you a sense of stability and belonging. You know, when I was grappling with moving back to my hometown from a time in New York City, I was going through a lot of spiritual pain, and I was also re-traumatized by coming back. So I was grappling with and plus I was detoxing from, you know, the stimuli of New York City. So I came back and I was really suffering. And I started walking outside in nature, very familiar walk that I had taken many times before, right? It's a familiar path. And there's all these pine trees lined on this walk. And I really started feeling really connected to them. They started to represent to me, because I was doing like shamanic meditations and things. Like I was doing a lot of healing work while on these walks, sort of trying to multitask, exercise and meditate. And when I started doing these meditations, I really felt like I was getting to commune with these trees. And they started representing my grandmother to me. And I found that really fascinating. And it helped me make peace, because I love my grandmother. It helped me make peace. It helped me feel more like I belonged, that I was loved and held and accepted. It made me make peace with this land. And because there was always sort of something unresolved, it felt, right? Something just felt unresolved, which is why I couldn't completely allow myself to be held up. And interesting that the beginning image was me being completely held up by the roots of these trees. I was laying down. So this could be for you too. Part of making peace with the earth element will be starting, whether it be while you're falling asleep, but just noticing how perfectly supported you are, right? That's part of the earth element too. Notice how whatever's holding you up right now, allow it to take more of your weight. Allow it to support you and hold you. Some of us weren't held enough. That's part of what we're feeling as we are trying to self-soothe, right? We weren't held enough. Well, can you allow whatever's holding you up right now to take more of you, to support you more fully, right? And start this practice of just allowing yourself to be held and supported. And if it can start with an inanimate object just holding you up, like your chair, your bed, your couch, your pillow perfectly supporting you, it can extend into other areas. So if you're feeling like you need that, that might be why you were called to Dravite. All right, let me know in the comments if that resonated. And watch the other crystals to see if your energy spilled over. I'm honestly hoping that the messages here are landing. I felt like the messages wanted to come through in a way that it was harder for me to translate. So I apologize if my lack of, or my challenge there was annoying to you. I apologize. But I hope the message came through despite my human error. But anyway, I hope there was some medicine in there for you, and I'm wishing you peace and support and knowing that you're being held. Thanks for liking the video and subscribing to the channel. That's valuable to me. All my links are in the description. And if you want to comment how this might have resonated, check out other people's comments, create a little bit of community in the comments, right? Especially if we're working on belonging. I want to find ways to have more community, build more community. So if you have ideas for me, I'm open. And sending you love, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, empath.